everybody, this is Esme and this is part 2 to my camp series on what to bring. This will be for the horse. I also have a part for the rider if you haven't checked that out. I will leave a link in the description if you would like to watch that. So first thing that you need to bring is a horse. Obviously you'll need to bring a saddle and you need to make sure that it fits your horse really well and that none of the stitching is loose. Next you'll need to bring a bridle, and again you need to make sure that all of the stitching isn't loose because the pony club will check it and make sure that it is nice and secure and safe. And if the horse you take does have one, remember to bring their martingale or breastplate. And you'll need to bring a lead rope and head collar, and with your saddle you'll need some stirrups and a girth. So these are all of the saddle pads / numbners that I'll be bringing with me. Obviously you don't need to bring this many, I just have quite a few because of YouTube, but these are the sort of colours that you're allowed, so navy, black, grey, white, beige or brown. And I have my Pony Club Hunter Green one here and my half pad. So I quite like to bring as many as I can just because when you've been riding, especially with cross country, your horse will get so sweaty and it's the most gross thing if it's still wet and you have to wear it for your ride in the afternoon. So it's good if you bring like more than one. I'd say probably like 2 or 3 is a good number, just then you have time for them to sort of dry out in between rides. So the next thing I'm going to bring are my boots, and they are all in here. So I actually keep some other stuff in here. At the top here I have a bag which has my stirrups in. Then I also have my gloves, some cross-country tape, my medical armband, and a spare hat silk, and a hairnet because I literally keep my hairnets everywhere because you never know when you'll need one. This is Casper's sausage boot. I use it on one of his hind legs just to make sure that when he's got studs in, he doesn't tread on himself and hurt himself with the studs. I also have Casper's overreach boots. I have Casper's cross-country boots, front and hind. Then I have Casper's brushing boots. I like to use these for flat work and dressage. And lastly, I have Casper's tendon boots that I use for show jumping. And then in this grey box, I have my grooming kit. So in here, I have all of my brushes that I'll be needing for grooming Casper. And then underneath I just have some baby wipes. They always come in handy if you just need a quick clean, a quick fix up. And I also have a sponge because who doesn't need a sponge in their grooming? And in my last box, and yes I do have a lot of these boxes, but I really like them because they're waterproof, so if it rains the stuff inside won't get wet. As well, they're also really sturdy. So in here I sort of have all of the cleaning products. This spray bottle has stain remover. This one has mane and tail detangler, this one has fly spray, and this one has a tack cleaner. Then next to it I have my little hoof oil brush and hoof oil, which always comes in handy as you get extra points if you have hoof oil on your horse. Then here I have some tack conditioner and a sponge. Again, just get loads of sponges, put them everywhere because they come in handy. Here I actually have some hand wash, just in case you want to wash your hands in between rides with the hose pipe, if your hands get very dirty. Here I have some mane and tail shampoo and conditioner. Here I have some treats because your horse will need a lot of treats over camp. So in this little pencil case here, I actually have all of my stud equipment, so I have some Vaseline jelly and some cotton pads just to refill Casper's stud holes afterwards. I have a little pick and a brush for cleaning out the stud holes, and I have another hoof pick. Then in this little grey box here, I have all of my studs. I do have quite a few just in case I lose some. Here I have some plaiting bands. I also have some more treats for Casper that a subscriber actually very kindly gave me. And in this little box here I have some more sponges and some saddle soap for cleaning my saddle and tack with. So here I have my wash bucket, and I will definitely be using this a lot having a grey horse. So inside here, so I have my sweat scraper for using to get rid of the water afterwards. I have my purple / blue / indigo shampoo, which works really well for getting all of the stains out of Casper. And then I have lots of sponges. I have a really pretty purple one, I have a donut one, I have a melon one, I have a rainbow one, and I have a pineapple one, and a little noodle bit. As you can tell, I like my funky sponges. These are all from Primark if you're wondering. Here I have Casper's feed buckets. I have one for the morning and one for the evening. And here I have an absolutely massive bucket for his water. So next I have the muck bucket, and this actually used to be Casper's old water bucket, but it has a hole in so it can't really be used as water bucket anymore. So I now use it as a muck bucket. So I don't actually use a wheelbarrow for transporting the muck at camp, just because it's quite difficult because we put ours onto a trailer and you have to like lift up the wheelbarrow upstairs to put it onto the trailer. So it's much easier just to have it in a big old water bucket that you can easily carry up the stairs. So this isn't often on the camp list, however if you do have one, definitely bring it because they're very useful. And this is a little mini skip with a little mini fork. So if a horse does do a poo in the yard and you quickly need to clean it up, or you're in a rush, you can literally just grab this and scoop it up rather than having to get your wheelbarrow out or get your muck bucket out and all of your tools and everything. You can literally just use this and it's really quick and easy. But for the slightly larger jobs, you'll still need to bring a shovel or a shavings fork. So here I have some little mini feed bins that I'll be keeping Casper's feed in. So in this bin here I have some Alpha A, and in this bin here I have Casper's competition mix. And the reason why I like to have them in little separate things and not make it up in advance is because Casper might need some more food as camp goes on, because he'll be working very hard and he might get more tired as the week goes on. So I will probably gradually up his feed over the week, so that is why I don't pre-make them. Also, I don't like to mix them together, so that's why they're separate. So here I have some little feed scoops. I actually got them from Poundland, and the reason why is because they're a lot cheaper than normal feed scoops, and they also have a little measuring thing on the side so you can see how much you're giving your horse. Here I have a saddle stand that I'll be keeping my saddle on. Also, it's really useful to bring one so you can clean your tack on it as well. So the next thing I haven't actually ever seen on the camp list before, but it's a dustpan and brush, and this is actually quite useful if the whole yard is sweeping into like a little pile and you just need somebody to quickly sweep it up. You've got this to use. So here I have a salt lick, which would be very nice for Casper to have in his stable to lick, as well as all of the other treats that I'll be bringing with him. I will be bringing some apples and carrots as well. So yes, I'm back at it again with the colourful plastic boxes, but they're just so useful for transporting stuff to camp in. You can literally get these from like any DIY shop. Old horsey towels like this are so useful. You can use them for like drying off your horse after you've bathed them. You can use them for drying off your tack, like everything. Like these will come in handy. And then underneath that, I just have Casper's fleece rug, and I'll be using this in the evenings if it does get a little bit colder, or if once I've ridden him and I've washed him off and he just needs something to be put on to dry him. So here I have Casper's hay nets. You'll definitely need to bring two, so you always have one made up. As you can see, I've actually already made mine up, just because at camp it's really useful when you first get there. The last thing you want to do is make some hay nets. So that means that Casper will have one in the box when we first arrive, so that will keep him happy, and then he also has another one that I can put in his stable when I'm getting his stable ready. So here I have a wheelbarrow, as you might be able to see. Unfortunately, my blue one that I used to have died, so we've got this new purple one. You don't actually really need to bring a wheelbarrow with you if you're going to be using a muck bucket instead. However, if you can fit it in your horse box or trailer, I would definitely recommend bringing one, just because it's so useful if you're going to be transporting your tack, for example. Rather than having to like lug it all around, you can literally just chuck it in the wheelbarrow and it's so much easier. So something I've always seen on the camp list, and I've seen on other people's camp lists, are bandages. So here I have a tail bandage, I have a stable bandage, and some Gamgee or Fibergee, whatever you like to use. I understand that some people use these as personal preference. Personally, instead of a tail bandage, I usually use the Velcro ones, and I personally don't really use polo wraps or stable bandages. Some people like to use them on their horses to keep their legs clean or to stop their legs swelling if they're standing in a stable for a long time, but personally I don't have that problem. The reason why the Pony Club like you to bring these if you have them is because if you're doing your C or C+ test, you might need to learn how to do a stable bandage, and this will be in your care lessons. So if you don't have these, I personally wouldn't go out and buy some, but if you do have some, it would be really useful to bring them because you might be able to let somebody else borrow them. So here I have a very large broom, and the reason why I like to bring a large one is because when we're sweeping the yard, it just is a lot quicker. However, if you don't have one, don't worry, you can take a small one as well. So again, this might not apply to your camp, but at my camp everyone brings a bike because it's quite a long walk from the stables to where we'll be sleeping in the lodge. So you don't actually really need to bring a bike helmet because everyone just wears their riding helmet as well. So that is everything I'll be bringing to camp for the horse. Now we need to get everything in the van. Okay, so this is where your camp might differ slightly to mine. So at my camp we're there for 6 days, so depending on how many days your camp lasts, it's sort of a gamble on how much you take shavings wise and hay wise. So hay, I'm quite comfortable with how many bales to take after all the camps I've been to. Usually like every year Casper gets through just 2 bales, so he like literally finishes the last bit of the second bale on the last day. However, this year, as always, I will bring an extra bale just in case this year he eats slightly more than last year or the previous years. Shavings, however, is definitely a lot more tricky thinking about how much to bring. So on my second year of camp, I was actually allocated a really lucky stable. It was completely immaculate. The banks were absolutely massive, so I actually didn't have to use any shavings like at all on my second year. However, last year I had quite an unlucky stable. It actually flooded, so all of the shavings were wet. It still had so many poos in, so the person hadn't mucked out their stable, so I had to clear everything out and put new shavings in. So I had to use a lot more shavings last year than I'd have had the previous years. So this year I am taking 4 shavings, so we will see how it goes. I'll tell you at the end how many I actually end up using, but hey, I have got 3. Okay, so everything is now packed up in the van. This is sort of what it's looking like. So you have the feed bins down here, the grooming boxes there, and up here I have Casper's spare head collar, saddle, saddle pads, bridle, breastplate. Then going over to this side, I have some more boxes. In here I have all of the buckets. Here I actually have a lid for my bucket, for the feed bucket, so when I make his morning feed, no dirt will get in it and stuff. Wash bucket there again. Then I have another box, some boots, my 2-point air jacket, and down here I have the last 2 boxes, and something I actually quite like to do. So in this purple box here I have all of my stuff. So this is the stuff that the Pony Club will actually check when I first arrive. So I have my body protector and my helmet in here that they will actually check. Just so it's really easy access when we arrive at camp, and the last thing you need to worry about is where everything is.